The Chicago Bulls just wrapped up their final game of this summer league run, and the one prevailing thought that I have coming out of this game, and maybe even overall in summer league, despite the good play from Noah Essengue and Matas Buzelis having a great game as well over this stretch, is that the Bulls will be dumb not to find a way to bring Yuki Kawamura to at least the Chicago Bulls G League team. We're going to talk about it all and more right after this. What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bull Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that said, let's go ahead and get into this content today, y'all. And for those that have been around this channel for a while, and I'm talking about since the 4 years that this channel has been around, one of the first videos that I have ever dropped on this channel that actually blew up and kind of in a large way on the YouTube side, put me on the map for a lot of people, was that in the summer of 2021-22, I believe it was, maybe it was 2021, when the Chicago Bulls had just acquired Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso and DeMar DeRozan, and a lot of Bulls fans in that summer were spending a lot of time saying why the Bulls should be trading and moving off of Kobe White. I dropped a video titled, "The Bulls Would Be Crazy to Trade Kobe White," and that was the first video that blew up on this channel. Well, I'm here to tell you something else, right? Not nearly as big of a notion or anything, but the Chicago Bulls would be crazy not to try to find a way to keep Yuki Kawamura in their system. Whether that's a two-way contract, whether that means he's willing to accept a normal G League contract, whatever it takes to get Yuki Kawamura to stay here in your system, I think that the Bulls need to do. Despite, having Noah Essengue, a rookie that, he had two really good games, one questionable game over the summer league run. But one of the biggest moments that come from him that everybody's going to remember in the summer league run was him getting dunked on by Furpy, right? That's going to be the thing that everybody thinks about. Matas Buzelis, who only played 2 games over the course of this run, had a really good game in game 2. Not so much of a bad game in game 1 either. But again, it was nothing to really write home about. But for those that watched the 5 summer league games for the Chicago Bulls this summer league, somebody that every time they stepped on the court, not only upped the level of play by the Chicago Bulls, but dazzled in what he was able to do and how he was able to do it, was Yuki Kawamura. Now, this is a guy who finished his summer league run with a final game of 20 points and 10 assists. Now, I get it. We see a lot of that in the regular season. And Yuki Kawamura at 5'8" made it look almost flawless in the way that he was able to go out there and do these things. But the reason why Yuki, to me, is a player that the Bulls have to keep in their system at this point is because of the way that he makes the game easier on the players that are around him. And when you have players like the Chicago Bulls do that you're trying to develop that can't create their own shot, things like that, Yuki's ability to create shots, to create looks, get people easy buckets, not only could develop Noah Essengue in the time he spends down in the G League, Lachlan Albrick in the time that he's going to spend initially down in the G League as well. Like, Yuki ups your offense that much. And also, he simulates a level of play that the Chicago Bulls are trying to do with their regular roster and pushing the pace, even being a solid enough rebounder as well. To go over Yuki's stats, in the 5 summer league games that he played, he averaged 23.9 minutes, 10.2 points per game on only 7 shots per game, 42% from the field, 41% from three-point range. He got to the free throw line on average of 2 times per game, hit that at an 81% clip. And at being 5'8", he had almost 3 rebounds per game and almost 7 assists per game as well with, by the way, 2.2 steals per game as well. Yuki is a player that makes the game easier on everybody around him. And for a team that has talked about a lot that they want to use their G League system to actually develop a crop of players, guess what? To do that, you need somebody who's going to help. You need coaching. You need a lot of things that are down there that work well. But Yuki's a guy that absolutely brings that at just about every way that you can ask for it for the Chicago Bulls potentially. I'm not here to knock anybody else, right? When you look at the other players on the Chicago Bulls two-way contracts, you have Lachlan Albrick, who I think they're invested in seeing how he's going to develop. You have Emmanuel Miller, and you have Jameer Young. These are the three players that are on the Bulls' two-way contracts. And I'll tell you what, I get it. Even if you want to look at Jameer Young with his 40-point game, that's great. It was one game, but he had a really good G League season last year. I can understand if you want to keep him as a scorer, but Emmanuel Miller, to me, as a guy that's, on the bigger, considered a big or whatever, but he's still a guy that I look at and I say, yeah, I could see why you would need him or consider moving on from him. You can find bigs and maybe even keep him around on a G League contract. But to me, Yuki has shown enough of that. And this isn't even to talk about what he can do for merch sales and things like that, things that Jerry Reinsdorf loves, right, is that money aspect. But that when you watch Yuki play the game of basketball, it's hard not to see how he doesn't make everything easier on his players. And the thing with that, too, is that we barely scratched the surface of Yuki as a scorer. You saw a little bit of it in this final Summer League game because of the players that we had out. But Yuki himself can be a player that you still can develop enough scoring-wise also. Yuki is somebody who deserves to stay. And I tell you what, Yuki Kawamura could very well be the next guy if the Bulls do not decide to sign him to a two-way contract or whatever it is that we look back on and say, you remember that guy who the Bulls had in their system of summer and that they let go to walk away for nothing, that they decided that he wasn't worth keeping around even though he had a really good run for you? I'm not here to always, and I'm not somebody who gets caught up. Like there are some people that say things like, oh, we got our Josh Giddey replacement if we don't keep Giddey. I'm not saying that. I think that's ridiculous to say, right? I'm not going to get caught up in that. But in just the realistic ways in that you can use Yuki Kawamura to this team, he helps you in so many of those ways, in meaningful ways. This isn't just surface level where it's like he's just helping a little bit. No, he actually helps the Bulls develop young players. And, of course, win G League games, which, not to say a lot of you guys watch G League, but, again, a little personal enjoyment out of it for me as somebody who watches every single G League game. Of course, I would love Yuki Kawamura to be here. I think that Yuki has done enough, he's shown enough, and he's done it consistently enough to prove that he's somebody that deserves to stick around. Now, whether he ends up developing into some great NBA talent or not, that remains to be seen on how he's going to be able to overcome the size limitation. And that is going to be something he's going to have to overcome if he wants to be an NBA player. No knock to him. It just is a reality of it that's done. But he's somebody that's worth seeing if he can do that. He is worth putting in the investment to see what he can turn into, because even if he does not turn into an NBA player, what he will do over that time is give you somebody that can not only help you evaluate your guys, but develop the guys that you have to have down there in the G League. We shall see what's going to happen, man. The Bulls have had players much worse than Yuki Kawamura down there, and guys they've kept around for years in those roles. Yuki's somebody that I think he has earned it with the way that he played this Summer League. If anybody earned a two-way contract with the way that they played this Summer League run, it's Yuki Kawamura. And if AK and Eversley feel different on that, I just don't know what they're seeing. But you guys can let me know how you feel on that down below. Make sure you're following us at Bulls Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, bullscentralpod@gmail.com. And lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the #1 spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you, lovely and beautiful people. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See you right if you can, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Breaks Media.